What's up, Pally?
Today is Wednesday, February 19th, 2020.
And InFocus starts right now. An upcoming conference about online political discourse.
The coronavirus crisis continues.
And an inside look at the Pally wrestling team.
All that and more is coming up on today's show.
Welcome to InFocus. I'm JP Conrad.
And I'm Jackson Drucker.
There's a lot going on around campus.
Here are some important announcements from today's campus bulletin.
Pally's Asian American Student Union, Palace, and Mahjong Club are hosting a spring festival on the quad from March 18th to the 20th. If any clubs or students are interested in helping out with an event or making a culture poster, please send an email to aasu.pally@gmail.com. On March 8th at the Mitchell Park Community Center, Castellea is hosting a conference for teens on political discourse online. The conference, Democracy Online, is a free opportunity for Bay Area students to hear new perspectives, learn from experts, and meet new people. Facebook's Alex Stamos and reporters from the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times will be there. All teens are welcome. Visit the link on screen for more info.
The Palo Alto Weekly's 34th annual short story contest is underway. The students in Palo Alto are eligible to enter. Stories can be up to 2,500 words, and the submission deadline is March 27th. ASB is putting on Pally's Got Talent. The event will take place on April 2nd in the PAC. Visit the link on screen to sign up.
Pally students have many talents, including some filmmakers.
Maddie Drucker is here to tell us more about a famous director and producer with Today in History.
Thanks, JP and Jackson. In honor of Black History Month, we are looking at the first African-American director to be nominated for an Academy Award. On this day in 1992, John Singleton was nominated for Best Director for his film Boys in the Hood. At 24, he was the youngest person to ever be nominated. His film has since attained classic status, and in 2002, the United States Library of Congress deemed the film culturally significant and selected it for preservation in the National Film Registry. Boys in the Hood was also nominated for Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. That's all for me. Back to you.
Now moving from the news of the past to the news of today.
Let's see what's topping today's headlines in News Minute.
The Wuhan coronavirus has now infected more than 73,000 people globally, while the majority of those infected are in China, where travel restrictions have been placed on nearly 800 million people. Nearly 500 people in the U.S. are under observation for the virus. Much of the attention this week has been focused on cruise ships, where passengers have been confined to their rooms as the virus spread. In one case, the U.S. airlifted 300 people back to the United States, where they will begin the 2-week quarantine period. In another case, passengers were released to all parts of the world under the assumption that they were healthy, until one tested positive for the virus, leaving health officials scrambling.
Senator Bernie Sanders and former New York Mayor Mike Bloomberg topped the latest poll of Democratic presidential candidates on the eve of a debate in Nevada. Sanders is well ahead, with 31% of those polled saying they support him as the Democratic presidential nominee. But Bloomberg's 19% qualifies him for his first debate, putting other candidates on the offensive. Senator Elizabeth Warren and Sanders both attacked Bloomberg, a billionaire, for, quote, buying his way into the race, unquote. They are especially critical of tactics he approved as mayor of New York, including the stop and frisk policy, which many see as a form of racial profiling. The Democratic debate tonight could turn into a bit of a verbal scuffle between candidates.
Now we're moving to a look at Pally students who participate in a bit more physical sport.
Max Bonstetter has more about Pally's wrestling team.
Meet Cade Creighton. This Pally sophomore has been a successful competitive wrestler for the past 8 years. He wrestles on the Pally team, won the California State Freestyle title, and even competes internationally.
Hi, I'm Cade Creighton. I'm 15 years old. I'm a sophomore at Pally, and I do wrestling. I love wrestling because it gives me a chance to show my dominance, and it's a really internal sport where you're either a winner or a loser, and there's not really any in between. So it requires a lot of mental strength there, which I like and enjoy.
Cade looks up to a lot of people for wrestling, but one person stands out.
I'd say my wrestling role model is my father. He's a 2-time NCAA Division II national champion, and he's my coach as well. I really look up to him as a role model.
Cade's success is no surprise, as he certainly puts in the time and effort.
I train a lot actually throughout the week. I'd say I train every day after school and sometimes before school. On the weekends, it's usually weight training and CrossFit, and I come to practice every day after school on the weekdays.
One of the most essential parts to Cade's success is his diet.
Nutrition is really important for me, and cutting weight is a big part of wrestling too.
Wrestling is not quite as popular as sports like basketball or football, but Cade likes how it is unique.
Wrestling is different than other sports because it's really individual, and there's a lot of team sports here at Pally, but wrestling just depends on you. So it is what makes the sport really hard, actually. You're at fault for the mistakes you make, and you have to take responsibility for yourself and dominate your opponent, and it's what makes you tough as a person, and that's why wrestlers are so tough.
Cade has a lot of impressive wins under his belt.
I'd say the most impressive tournament that I've won is probably Freestyle States, which is the state tournament in the international style of wrestling, which is different than what we do here at Pally for a school. Yeah, I won that tournament, so best in California for freestyle at my age division.
He has even traveled to some really cool places for wrestling.
This past summer, I actually went to Japan for USA Wrestling, competed for California, and toured Okinawa and southern Japan. I was actually internationally undefeated on the team, which is really cool. It was a great experience, and it's like widened my view of wrestling around the world.
Cade has big plans for his future in wrestling.
I'm trying to use wrestling to get to college at least. I love the sport every day more and more, so maybe even beyond that. But this year I'm trying to win CCS and place at state, which is very hard to do. But I think I'm up for the challenge.
Cade has a bright career in wrestling ahead of him. For InFocus, I'm Max Bonstetter.
Thanks for that great story, Max. Wrestling is one of the many great sports that Pally offers.
After a long weekend without hearing about Pally athletics, we're here to help.
Jason Goldie is in the studio now with the latest in Pally sports news. Were there any games over the long weekend, Jason?
Girls JV soccer team took on Mountain View but lost 1-0. The varsity team also played Mountain View, losing 3-0. The boys JV team had no better luck, losing 3-2 to Mountain View. Boys varsity also lost to Mountain View 4-0. Also on Wednesday, boys JV basketball played Milpitas and won 69-60. The varsity team won in overtime by a score of 71-68. On Friday, boys JV basketball took on Los Altos, winning 61-34. The varsity team won too, 62-57. The girls JV basketball team also played Los Altos on Friday, but lost 38-22. The varsity team won 47-41. The girls JV soccer team also played Los Altos on Friday and won 2-0. The varsity team lost 1-0. The boys varsity team was also shut out against Los Altos, 2-0. The girls varsity basketball team beat Cupertino last night, 49-44. On Monday, boys JV basketball beats Cupertino, 51-48. The varsity team won a close one against Cupertino last night, 41-40. Now let's move on to the upcoming games. Today at 3:30, both boys soccer teams play at home against Santa Clara. At 4, girls JV soccer plays away against Santa Clara, and then varsity takes the field at 6. That's all for me. Back to you.
Well, that does it for today's episode.
Be sure to visit our website to check out old episodes, check the bulletin, or to send us an email.
Until next time, have a great day, Pally.